Good morning. Today's date is the 30th, 1st, 2020. It's now 30:40. It's now 11:40 a.m. And I slept really good. 10 hours I've slept. Waking up once in a while, we had to get up. And I've been last night. Today's Thursday. Yesterday was Wednesday. Wednesday I was at the doctor's office, my home physician. I went to this Mrs. Doctor. She's an assistant, but she's very good because she's really taking the time with one, so I can finally tell what I have for problems, while other doctors don't have the really time for you. Getting up, going to the door, okay. And I've showed her the information about the university clinic, that hospital that I've been to, and asking about these eggs, if she could explain that to me. But she explained to me about species. Okay, I know about species. So now, eventually, when I think about it, what they were examining there, and it also stated there, were bacteria, and those bacteria here on my egg, behind left and right, especially right, yeah. Especially on the right, the amount of bacteria are such gigantic that they cannot be individually told or said or identified what each and every one is. It's just too many of them. So I'm wondering what I'm having up there. Borgelian bugs, Borgelian bugs. So and so now then on this sheet of paper, many papers on them from there. There was this antibioticum. They were telling you about antibioticum because the resistance of this bacteria is very weak. So a lot of antibiotics may be used on it, and but also it's stated, because my professor told me the same thing. But it also stated, the next paragraph, that there should be used another antibioticum with a specific special thing inside of it, like a special antibioticum, because also that special antibioticum with any kind of other antibioticum together, because that special one should not be used only and only the other antibioticum, because it's not supposed to be. And in the first paragraph it says that you may use any antibioticum I would like, but that therapy is not a good idea to do like that, because these bacteria, they do very quickly resist those or that or those one of those antibiotics. So when I was talking to this Mrs. Doctor here, not from the boss, but she's an assistant, she was telling me, very weak resistance. They have very weak resistance against antibioticum. Then she called in the son of the big chief, because the chief wasn't there, and they were telling me over and over again, but you are using already antibioticum, so you don't need the other one. I think they think that I'm stupid, that I'm so stupid that they can manipulate me. Usually they can manipulate me if some not necessarily maybe stuff that I need to, like a medication, but it's not a medication. Sometimes there's maybe a medication that I really don't need to. They like to manipulate you, like saying like, you come into the office and I see you and I say, "Hello, John," or "Hello, Mrs. So-and-so. Oh, you don't look very good today, What's wrong with you?" But you yourself, you feel well, like you're a happy day. It's, of course, you have once in a while depressions. Maybe you have some bulimia or anorexia once in a while, But still, you come into this doctor's office, and you feel great, right? But this doctor says to you, "Well, you don't look very good. What's the matter with you? You look kind of pale, I know this stuff from psychology, and you want to learn psychology, or you hear that on documentaries on TV, that this is a sort of manipulation. Your Unterbewusstsein, your subconscious, telling your subconscious something that you are not at this moment. The subconscious will look for that problem so long until it will accept that question and have the answer. The answer is, yes, I am feeling bad. I am feeling sick. I am feeling pale. Oh, and there it goes. You suddenly start to drop, to fall, like on a depression or whatever, and then it really happens. Businessmen do that usually into their clients, or chiefs do that because they want to get rid of someone in their working place that they don't like. So, that's why they go to the doctor and then take a day off, That's what it is, and I don't like things like that. So I'm sure this doctor may be looking at this clip here, and hopefully she will understand who I'm talking about, So, about this other medication that you're supposed to use, which is a very strong medication that you should use, you must use, and additionally, antibiotica. They didn't have that at the drugstore last night, so I ordered it, and it comes in today. But the other ones of the antibiotica, I mentioned that the professor, wrote down the name of it, because he said I shouldn't be using those antibiotica against those pus yet. It's not going to change anything anymore for now. I should wait until I'll go to that appointment, which is in 1 or 2 weeks, where I have to go to for the last blood test to figure out, do I have borreliasis, something like Lyme disease, borreliasis something, or not. This test is a final test that makes 101% sure you have it or you don't, And the blood test is going to be taken from a professor doctor, and it will be then sent to her laboratory, which is in the same hospital, and then analyzed. But I wrote her, she said, you should only take those medications. I told her I was using them already, some other ones, but I had a feeling that they weren't that they didn't work. So I mentioned the name of it. So she wrote me back and saying that medication, I don't know the name of it. It's a 3-word name, antibiotica. She said that one they've been testing, because she's actually a hospital where they test all kinds of medications, medication probably, and also viruses, bacterias and things. Now, it's a bigger hospital with lots of other units, like a hospital also has, And she said that is a very good or a good antibiotica. So I just want that one, because the antibiotica, I mentioned it already, it's about like until here, it's pretty big, that pill. And the ones I've been getting prior to that, it was a low dosage, and they were a little thing, like it's ridiculous, And why was I using a low dosage of medication? I want to get rid of this shit, And but maybe it's because either so I don't have the side effects. But I think it's a different story, because if it's functioning, this antibiotic very weak, if it's very weak, then to kill these things off, it's gonna take a long time, if at all, because as soon as they realize I'm feeding them with this kind of antibiotica, they will resist to it. So I will take this antibiotica forever, and nothing's gonna happen. Do you know people about that? About those people who are taking medication, antibiotica, penicillin, against Morgellons? You may think about trying to use the other one that I got suggested to, that I must take the first one with the second one, that second one may be any kind of antibiotica. The first one is the core antibiotica, right? But you may not use the first one only and not the other ones, So that combination must be. It's been written down from a professor, doctor, I don't know his name, and I'm not going to mention it. It's a Facharzt, meaning he is from that, he knows what he's talking about, that's his specific thing, And yes, so I'm going to pick it up today, and eventually I'm going to make another clip on it and showing you what it is called. So those people, I don't know if they help against Morgellons, I know they're called Morgellons. I call them Borg because I'm a Borg, so it fits my thing, Borgelian. And maybe it may, because those bacteria that I have in here, I realized them since I started filming, putting those clips up, in clips 1 or 2, there were already crusts that I were breaking out, and they were the same one that looked like I'm taping out today. And they had these identification that they looked like that, and that they had eggs. They even may have eggs, but I didn't realize that yet, because I wasn't that smart yet to grab another tweezer and grab these things inside the crust, because the little crust is like what 7 or 8 millimeters by 3 millimeters wide and maybe a millimeter thick, or maybe a little more, so that's a problem, so eventually I did that in, I don't know, about a month ago or earlier, I'm feeling things going in there, like stuff is running down. So you have to figure it out if that first core Antibiotika may help against Borgelians, because maybe you don't get that for anyone, that's the problem. And as I went to the emergency, like it was some kind of emergency, it's not directly to the hospital, but beside the hospital they built something called the KVB, Bereitschaftsdienst. There's another word dafür, there's another word for it. On Saturday or Sunday, if you can't find a doctor, you go to the hospital, but the hospitals then are filled up. You have a little boo-boo, you're bleeding, but they have more important things to do than to take care of your little fingernail broken, So they build one beside it, or you find these ones all over the